questions for Coach? What are just your initial thoughts on USC? I mean, it seems like a super talented team.
Yeah, just, very big, athletic. I think they've got a good mix of – they're able to land two really good post-grad kids that can score the ball for them. They had a heck of a recruiting year, getting Mobley and Oneka to begin with. But the rest of the guys they got in that class can really play. And I've been a huge fan. This is a team I've coached against, and Nick and Matthews have been really good. So you've just got to it's a very, very strange matchup. And I was telling somebody today that it's just by the draw, you don't know how it always works, but we went exhibition game, basically playing two teams without a center. Then you play Utah, who's huge, and then you play LMU and Arlington, really don't have a center, maybe one center in either program. And now here you come to USC, who plays, in my opinion, Oneka's a center, Nick's a center, and Mobley's a four-man. So you're playing two centers and a four in the starting lineup. So it's just different. And so when you got young bigs like we do, minus JC, that's hard on them just to figure things out. And so we've told them, just keep playing hard. You'll get the experience. That'll start to come into play. And that's what we're hoping for, is that our guys just play really hard and then just see what we think. We've got a good game plan and just see if our guys can execute and make the plays. But obviously a big game before we hit the road.
What do you need from your front court in a game like this against such large and skilled size?
Yeah, I think just make things as easy as you can on yourself, offensively and defensively, and that's really by being a good position player. Don't make the game harder than what it needs to be. And what I mean by that is that defensively, if you're always in the right position defensively, you're going to stay out of foul trouble, which is huge for us. Offensively, if you screen and react and you space correctly, you're making the game easy for yourself. Then it's all about production, obviously at the offensive end, of whether that's finishing inside, whether that's making the appropriate passes, those type of things. And defensively, the biggest key for us is going to be board play. Utah beat us really bad on the boards, and that cost us a game. And this is a team that we're playing potentially that's bigger than Utah. So board play is going to be a huge key to this. So I need our bigs to guard without fouling, and I need them to rebound.
You're obviously pretty familiar with this team over the last several years. What do you think is the biggest calling card you've noticed with Andy Enfield coach teams?
That's it's a hard one. I think they've always been a team that they like to play in transition. They've always been that. They'll mix defenses from man to zone. A lot of middle pick and roll actions. They do a lot of really good actions, I think, in the middle of the court that makes rotations and tags and switches a little bit dicey for your defense. So I think when you set up against them, it's about how you're going to guard the middle pick and roll. And they've got good length now. They've not always had this kind of length, and now they've got that. And the staff does a very good job in recruiting. They've always had really good high-level players, and I think that's the same. We're getting a team just like that. We're going to get a team that's got a lot of highly ranked, high-level players and who are going to play hard, and they do a lot of good things that you have to defend against. It makes it hard.
You've mentioned kills on a couple of press conferences. Yeah. So is that 3 stops in a row?
Yes. Yeah.
Where did that term come from? And the goal is 6 per game?
Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago at UCLA. I think it's a big pack line deal, and we're not a pack line team. We're the opposite of a pack line team. But I like the concept of what 3 stops in a row meant. And that was always it was labeled as a kill. But if you can get 6 of those, statistically it shows you win a lot of games. So we try to get 3 each half to get to 6. The other night we got 10 in a game where we didn't shoot the ball very well, and it took almost all 10 kills to get a win. So our guys have really done a good job with that. We've hit that goal, I think, every game except Utah. So it's like that's we got a lot of goals that we're trying to attain, but that's one of them, and that's a key one because we use that in timeouts where we've got 2 in a row. We're coming out of an ATO. Can we get a stop and a score out of an ATO? And it's just a way of taking a big game and reducing a little bit so our guys can concentrate and focus a little bit harder.
What are some, I guess, of the other key goals that you guys try and hit every single game?
Obviously, defensive efficiency, we're trying to be at 95. Offensive efficiency, we're trying to be at 110. We don't want to turn it over more than 12 times. Three-point shooting, we want to be a team that, I may not have the exact numbers, but a team that, we're shooting 36, 37% or better. And on the flip side, can we hold teams below that in three-point percentage? Board play, that's been getting 75% of all defensive rebounds. That's been a big issue. We do a lot of things with ATO, OBs, transition game, the foul line. We'd like to beat you by 5 at the foul line. Again, if you look at the two glaring stats that we didn't do well in the Utah game, our one loss, we got buried at the free throw line. We got buried at the on the backboard. So those were two key things that we got to always continue to work on.
Feel for where your team is now, or is it just hard with Jalen being reincorporated?
Yeah, I think that's always going to be a process. I think we know we got 9 guys, and we know those 9 guys are in the rotation, they're playing, but there's so much inexperience with them that it's about just each day, each game, each day, just continue to teach. I like where we're growing defensively. I told them that last night, that at this time of year, your defense should be ahead of your offense because you're putting so much in offensively, and then you got to look at the counters that you have to put in offensively. So that's going to take some time, and I've told them I don't worry about that as much as I do the execution of the offense, taking good shots, taking care of the ball. And if you look at us, through 3 games being an inexperienced team, although we haven't left home, we're taking care of the ball. We're valuing the ball at a really high level, I think, for an inexperienced team. We still got to work on shot selection, and I think that'll come. Our efficiency will come. But defensively, we're starting to see some growth of how we want to look defensively, and that's been very, very encouraging. So I like where we're at 3 games in, but it's not where I'm able to say we have an identity or, we're where we want to be. I think this team has huge ceiling of where they can get to by the time they get to January if we continue at the pace that we're learning right now. We got a chance to be pretty good by the time we get to January.
You guys announced your recruiting class. What is the recruiting philosophy at a school like Nevada compared to UCLA, where obviously you're getting what are you looking for at a mid-major school, and how does that differ from at a Power 5 school?
Well, a Power 5 school, but we don't look at us as mid-major. I didn't look at us as mid-major when I was at New Mexico, and I definitely don't do it here. We're going to recruit the best. We look at it as a puzzle, and what do we have to fit with our puzzle? We're obviously losing 3 high-level guards. We're going to lose JC, who's our starting center. So having Warren and Dez sitting out and practicing with us every day is huge for us. And then getting 5 guys that really fit our puzzle. We couldn't be more excited about it because all 5 of those guys, they love to play, for one. They're students first, which is huge for us. They care about their education. They're going to be great teammates, and they're motors. I probably look anymore, Chris. I probably look at how hard a guy plays more than I do anything else. Do they have a motor? Because at nearly 55 years of age and 30 years into this, I don't want to use all of my energy getting guys that don't want to play hard and don't have a motor. And this recruiting class, these are guys you're going to come see as a freshman, and by the time they're juniors, I know what they're going to look like by the time they're juniors because they all have high motors and they love to play the game and they want to get better.
Is that different when you're looking at like 4 and 5-star?
No, I think the difference is it's not always a positive either. The difference is at a Power 5 school and an upper level Power 5 school like UCLA. And we had some great recruiting classes. The rankings would say top 3, top 4, top 5, but then you factor in injuries, you factor in other things, and then you factor in some kids just aren't ranked right. And that's something that you learn in coaching that, to be honest with you, that it may be one of the last things I look at is how kids are ranked. I just don't put as much value on that because I think there are a lot of ways kids get overhyped. Where you play at high school, where you play in the AAU circuit. I think there's an awful lot of overhyping, and I want to see, do you win in high school? Do you win in AAU? How do you react in AAU when you play a morning game? Now you play a night game. Do you play it or do you sit out? And then when I see you in person, what's your motor look like? And so those are the things I look at more than rankings. But at the Power 5, you have, I think, a lot more pressure, especially the upper level. Everybody worries about where your recruiting class is. And I think that's something at New Mexico and here, that would be the glaring difference is I won't care one iota where our recruiting class is ranked. It's going to be, does it fit our puzzle? Does it fit our needs? And for just 1 year in and being 6 months on, I give my staff a lot of credit. We've covered a lot of ground. Again, starting with Des and Warren, who I think are going to be terrific, and then getting 5 freshmen of this quality all to sign early. We're not waiting until the spring to have a class like this that's already in the Wolfpack family. That's pretty exciting.
You enjoy recruiting?
There's parts of it. There's parts of it that I enjoy. I'm not sure all the summer games are that enjoying anymore after you've been doing it so long. But building the relationships with mom and or dads or grandparents and the kids, that's always been fun. And I've always enjoyed that part of it. It's just the way you have to go about seeing players now has changed. I'm obviously a high school coach's kid. My dad was a high school coach, so developing a relationship with high school coaches is something I've always enjoyed. So it's hard in the winter because of our schedules, but anytime I can get to see a high school game, I've always enjoyed that. And the summer circuit obviously has its merits. It's just a lot. And when you've gone through a whole season, then all of a sudden you got to recruit in April. That gets to be, I think, very tiresome because I know how much stress we're under as coaches and the hours we spend in that October through March frame. I'd almost wish April was dead and May was live because I think coaches just need a little bit of a shutdown time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.